on the line with me is Colorado Representative Ken DeGraaf. And we talked with Joe Whitney in the first hour with Rooted in Littleton and talked about how important it is that the people that we elect are representatives of the people instead of special interests. And as you all know, I'm president of the Colorado Union of Taxpayers, and we are putting the finishing touches on our ratings report, so it should be published probably by the end of the week. And what we look at is different legislation. In fact, we took positions on well over 260 pieces of legislation, and then we rate the legislators on that big amount of legislation. And for any legislator that gets 80% to 89%, they are noted as a cut guardian, a Colorado Union of Taxpayers guardian. And that means they're protecting the taxpayer, they're protecting property rights, parental choice, and TABOR, Colorado's Taxpayers Bill of Rights. And I'm very pleased to congratulate the legislator that we have on the line with us, Representative Ken DeGraaf, as a cut guardian. Welcome, Representative DeGraaf.
Thank you, Kim. CUT has been a tremendous resource for us at the Capitol, and I couldn't agree more. The people need to support the candidates who are actually supporting the constitutional value. What I'm finding there is that the special interest, like you mentioned, the special interest, the special money, the special investors, what they want is mediocrity. They want mediocrity. They want mediocrity, so it's dependent on those special interests. And what we need to do to get their big money out is we need to get little money in. And so we need the individuals in Colorado to actually step up and displace that money so that we can get these candidates, more of the candidates that will actually support these values, because this is not going to be done by the big money that is supporting certain candidates.
Well, and what I have seen is the consultant class, they're using the narrative of balance, that we want more balance down at the State House. And you're seeing that on both sides of the aisle. And actually, we're seeing, and that balance they're talking about is, you mentioned mediocrity. I'm going to say even worse than mediocrity, because you sent something over, this Poly score. It's an AI impact analysis service. And man, they really went after you, saying that you were, if you really look at it though, you're not kowtowing to special interests. So a number of things here. The titles may sound good, but when you really look at it, it's bureaucrats, bureaucracies that are not getting the job done. There's a whole bunch of things regarding education. Representative DeGraaf, our kids, throughout Colorado, there's school districts where kids are not reading and writing at proficient level, and there may be, on average, I would say, only 30% of our kids are hitting that benchmark. But there's school districts that are not even hitting that, but man, they still want more money, more money, more money, and you voted no on those things.
I did, Kim, and one of the things on that Poly score, that AI, that I sent over, the progressive one, that's kind of the antithesis of CUT, is one thing is they look at, they go by the bill title, apparently. And one of the things that people need to realize is when they're looking at legislation is what I call legislation 101 is what it says it is, it ain't. What the bill says it is has very little to do with what is actually in the bill. So right. When they say, hey, this is a bill to help schools, it might have some part of that, but it's really something entirely different. So that score actually being a low score is in my mind good, but you'll see the Democrats score very high on that, where they'll score very low on yours. And you are right about balance, because these same special interests they don't have any issue with paying on the Democrat side to have very radical leftist views, but then they want to pay on the Republican side. They contribute to the Republicans who are doing what they consider a middle of the road, what they call a middle of the road, which which is just where you get hit by cars from both ways. And, in one sense, I mean, that's, going back to your previous conversation about, the horror of unanesthetized organ removal. We have that same thing in the United States with the fetal harvesting industry. So that the Democrats voted down even anesthetizing unborn persons before they're subjected to cruel and unusual punishment. And so we have that same thing in this country, and what's gotten us to that same point is the search for mediocrity, to say that we want to be in the middle, we don't want to offend anybody, we don't want, and so the special interests fund very far left, and then they fund the Republican side too often to stay in the middle. And what that does is it gives the governor, really, it gives him a bipartisan cover, and he can claim bipartisanship on, with at least one Republican voting on the bill, and those special investors keep him in. What we need to do, we have 1 million Republicans. If the 1 million Republicans gave $500 million and specifically towards constitutional values, we'd have $500 million to support constitutional candidates. Where instead we're scraping together to try to get special interest money, and that special investor money comes with a level of fealty that is that's keeping us from actually achieving our goals.
Well, and with that, I'd really recommend that people support CUT as well, Colorado Union of Taxpayers.
Absolutely.
To join, it's only $25, and that's a year. That's about $2.08 a month, and you will be so informed. And let me just say thank you to that team. This is all volunteers, and that is Steve Dorman, Greg Goliansky, Russ Haas, Bill Hamill, Rob Knuth, John Nelson, Wendy Warner, Marty Nielsen, Ramey Johnson, Mary Jansen, Dave Evans, Corey Onazorg, Paula Beard, and Ray Beard. When you see these folks out there, say thank you and join us at coloradotaxpayer.org. So Representative DeGraaf, unbelievable. 768 bills or resolutions were introduced in the regular session, and then there was another, I think, 13 in the special session, which that was really just a pickpocket of a variety of things. But CUT took positions on 273 bills. And when you see the CUT report, it's not political. We have looked at these different bills through this lens of protecting property rights, protecting the taxpayer, protecting Colorado's Taxpayers' Bill of Rights, and parental rights. So when you see how these people are rated, it is just very informative. We're not into politics, and we really look at the issues, and I think it's important to understand that. So getting a rating of as a CUT guardian is a big deal, Representative DeGraaf.
Well, thank you, and for the people out there listening, it is a good investment, because it's a lot of extra sets of eyes, and you can see how much work it is to do 260 bills, and then when you consider that, or 273 bills, when you consider that there's, in this case, 781 that were considered in that 100 days, it's pretty easy to see that government is being done to us, not for us, and the continual compromise is something that we need to stand up against, and that's going to take the individuals.
Well, absolutely. So when you see this AI-generated Poly score, and a candidate is getting unfavorable marks on it, you should probably say, that means that they are standing up for the people and representing us. And we've not been paying attention. We've let this happen here in Colorado. I know you are. I am working as well. We've got to reclaim this state, and we can do that. We've got a couple of minutes left, Representative DeGraaf. What's your final thought you'd like to leave with our listeners?
Well, I'd like to that self-governance is not a spectator sport.
Mm-hmm.
We have we need everybody. We need boots on the ground. We need people. We need money, and we need money in our coffers. And now that money needs to be invested smartly. It needs to. I'll be standing up I'm in the process of standing up an organization to support constitutional-focused candidates so that we're not reliant on a system of doling out, and there's a pro-family constitution that Brandy Bradley is working on, and those things are where you need to put your money if you want to have. But you do need to put your money. It's essentially a vote for the values, and people look at how much money is there, and they judge by what candidates that they will attack and that they will consider vulnerable based on the money that's there. So if you like a constitutional candidate, it's going to take backing. One of the most valuable things can be, if you don't have the money to do it, is to get organized into the door knocking campaigns and take that message directly to the people. But too often we have people that say, well, I'll give money when there are good candidates. And the special investors are never going to give you good candidates because they don't want your money. They want you to stay out of it. So you're going to have to invest outside of that, and you're going to have to displace the big money if you want to have that voice in politics.
Well, keep us in the loop as you're developing this, Representative DeGraaf, because this is very important. And we're out of time. How can people get more information about you?
My website currently is DeGraaf4Colorado.com, DEGRAAF, the number 4Colorado.com.
Okay.
And we're in the process of getting that more increasingly populated, and we'll have more on our 501.
Okay. Thank you so much. And our quote for the end of the show is from Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. He said this: "There are only two lasting bequests we can hope to give our children. One of these is roots, and the other is wings." So today, be grateful, read great books, think good thoughts, listen to beautiful music, communicate and listen well, live honestly and authentically, strive for high ideals, and like Superman, stand for truth, justice, and the American way. My friends, you're not alone. God bless you, and God bless America.